Greetings all! Today, we'll be examining the members of the legendary Loyal 3 group and their leader, including the Poison Fire-type Pokémon Okidogi, the Poison Saga-type Pokémon Munkidori, the Poison Fairy-type Pokémon Fezandipiti, with those three being collectively known as the Retainer Pokémon, and their leader, the mythical Poison Ghost-type Pokémon Pecharunt, the Subjugation Pokémon. Steeped in the lore of the Kitakami region, and toxic in more ways than one, the members of the Loyal 3 group and Pecharunt are devious creatures that will bully and abuse whoever they wish to in order to accomplish their goals.
Okidogi has the form of a large canine, with black fur covering most of its body and tail, save for green patches of fur on its three-toed feet, five-fingered hands with opposable thumbs, upper thighs, lower torso, chest, and face, additionally having purple palm markings and streaks of purple fur on its face. It further has a bulbous purple nose, black pointed ears with purple interiors, a large jaw filled with sharp teeth, white eyes, yellow sclera, and a toxic chain with three hoop-like segments and two semi-square barbed protrusions at the end attached to its neck. Munkidori has the form of a small monkey, with black hair covering most of its form, with blue hair accents on its two-toed feet, three-fingered hands, chest and face and forehead, also having purple rings on its ankles. It further sports a small sprig of black fur on the top of its head, white eyes, yellow sclera, small nostrils, bright white teeth, and a multi-segmented toxic chain with two semi-square barbed protrusions at the end wrapped around its head like a bandana. Fezandipiti has the form of a pheasant with black feathers covering most of its body, with brown accents on its tail, three toe feet with two digits in the front and one in the back for stability, wingtips, upper chest and face, with sharp talons on its feet as well as white rings at its ankles and the end of its tail feathers and a purple beak tip. Additionally, the bird has yellowish feather crest barbs on its head, white eyes with black sclera, a pair of tassel-like purple feather crests on its eyebrows that trail towards its back, and a pair of toxic chains wrapped around its chest in a bow-like form, with two semi-square barbed protrusions at the ends of each of the two-segmented chain. Lastly, Pecharunt has the form of a spirit-like creature with a dark purple main body with a thin, wispy head-like extension, the entity having two small heart-shaped appendages and a light purple-colored face with dark purple eyebrows and white eyes and mouth, as well as a white band around its forehead. The creature often is seen inside of a large pecha berry-shaped purple shell with a black segmented interior structure and only a small pair of eye holes for it to peer out of when its rounded body is contained within the shell halves.
While their existence had been all but forgotten, the resurrection of the Loyal 3 and Pecharunt in modern times has helped to unearth their story for all to understand and ponder on.
Long ago in a faraway land, there was an old man and woman that could not have any children of their own, so instead they took care of a small timid Pokemon known as Pecharunt, a being created from the reincarnation of a spirit into the body of a mythical pecha berry, mutating it into a strange and ghastly form in the process, and they loved it dearly as if it were their own. Seeking as much love as it could get from them, the creature uses poisons in its body to create a special type of mochi called Binding Mochi. Though incredibly sweet tasting, the mochi bound the couple to the thrall of Pecharunt, drawing out the greed of anyone that ate them, as the old couple demanded more and more items from the wee beast. It in turn uses Mochi to control another Pokemon, Okidogi, to bring them whatever they would ask for, as it sought their affection through any means necessary, including one of the Pecha berries that it had been born from. One day, however, the couple asked for something different of Pecharunt, requesting it to travel to the land of Kitakami, as it was rumored that a set of brilliant masks had been made there that they desired to have for themselves. Enthralled, though, was asked to pursue something other than the normal desires they had grown bored of, Pecharunt in turn left on a long journey in search of this land and the fabled masks. Not wanting to take the journey alone, Pecharunt brought along the retainer that had tamed before and its enhanced strength along with it, eventually picking up Munkidori who, with Pecharunt's power, became able to see into the near future, and then eventually Fezandipiti who, with Pecharunt's power, became able to produce a powerful pheromone that could capture the attention of anyone that came within its presence. Crossing fields, mountains, and seas, three eventually made it to the land of Kitakami, and among the people that lived there, they eventually came upon a man and Ogerpon who had the mask they desired to obtain. Proceeding with caution, Pecharunt and Munkidori tracked down the location of the cave the two figures were staying in, as Okidogi and Fezandipiti were then sent in while the other two were away to take the masks. But just as they were able to take them back to Pecharunt, Ogerpon's human companion came upon them and did what he could to fight them off. But he could only muster the strength to keep one mask safe, the other three being successfully stolen. While Pecharunt initially believed that it can now finally make its family happy, Ogerpon came at the group in retaliation, and Pecharunt ordered his three companions to fight off the last in its defense. Fezandipiti uses beguiling pheromones to try and daze and confuse Ogerpon, Munkidori uses foresight to try and predict Ogerpon's attacks, and Okidogi tried to end the fight with its raw might, but even together the three could not best Ogerpon and were defeated. In one final assault, Ogerpon attempted to destroy Pecharunt, but he hid in its shell and entered a state of stasis to keep itself protected from further harm. In the end, it had lost, and was left to roll through the land until it came to a stop in a forest somewhere, eventually being picked up and placed in the town that still stands in the land today, waiting to grant the last wish of the people it once loved so dearly, which eventually led to its resurrection in modern times alongside its 3 companions. In the distant past before meeting Pecharunt, Okidogi was a frail, thin beast that had little power to it and was too weak to really be of much use to anyone, the creature wishing it could be stronger. When Pecharunt granted the wish of this creature in gifting it a toxic chain, with the chain's power, the beast was mutated and changed radically, the chain binding to its neck and bulking up its body to give it immense muscle mass and a great deal of physical power and defense, thus making it into the being it now exists as. While it is said in legend that those who worship the beast will be granted kindness and help ensure that things will be okay between all sides of any conflict, the beast is the polar opposite reflection of this in practice. Aside from the chain granting it the power of its signature toxic chain ability, which can spread the evil energy now flowing through the beast to potentially badly poison anything that is hit from an attack from it, this power makes it possible for Okidogi to pulverize anything that gets in its way with the chain wrapped around its neck, swinging it like a club or mace to bash anything that dares to stand in its way. The creature is known as a brutish ruffian with a short temper, and if anything dares to cross it even the slightest, it will lash out violently and attack with great force, in turn meaning that any confrontation with the creature is sure to be a dire one and worth preparing for if it must be hunted down. This is especially evident in its access to Guard Dog as a hidden ability and in its base stats, as the beast excels when it comes to stamina and physical attributes, its base HP attack and defense stats being above average for a fully evolved poison and fire type Pokemon, rendering it a potent bludgeoning force worth being wary of in close quarters fights. On the other hand, before meeting Pecharunt, Munkidori was a dim-witted, unintelligent beast that had little thought to it and was too dumb to really be of much use to anyone, the creature wishing that it could be more intelligent. When Pecharunt granted the wish of this creature in gifting a toxic chain, with the chain's power, the beast is mutated and changed radically, the chain binding to its head and boosting its intelligence to the point of granting it psychic powers, thus making it into the beast it now exists as. While it is said in legend that those who worship the beast will be granted success in life and an assurance that everything will always be alright, the beast is the polar opposite reflection of this in practice. Aside from the chain granting it the power of a signature toxic chain ability, this power makes it possible for Munkidori to decimate most others from afar, using its impressive psychic powers to cause immense headaches and dizziness within others, toying with them before delivering devastating psychic and poison type attacks to finish them off. The creature is known to be a clever tactician with patience and great willpower, and if anything dares to cross it even the slightest, it will lash out tactfully and attack with great force, in turn meaning that any confrontation with the creature is sure to be a dire one and worth preparing for if it must be hunted down. This is especially evident in its access to Frisk as a hidden ability and its base stats, as the beast excels when it comes to stamina, agility, and special attributes, its base HP, special attack, special defense, and speed stats being above average for a fully evolved poison and psychic type Pokemon, rendering it a potent mental force worth being wary of at a distance. Furthermore, before meeting Pecharunt, Fezandipiti was a plain-looking, uninteresting beast that had little color to help it stand out from other birds, stuck with a burning desire to appear gorgeous and use that power for its own gain. When Pecharunt granted the wish of this creature in gifting it a toxic chain, with the chain's power, the beast was also mutated and changed radically, the chain binding to its body and granting it a beautiful striking appearance, thus making it into the beast it now exists as. While it is said in legend that those who worship the beast will be granted good luck and a number of things occurring serendipitously, the beast is the polar opposite reflection of this in practice. Aside from the chain granting it the power of a signature toxic chain ability, this power makes it possible for Fezandipiti to use its alluring form to distract and even control others, such as with moves like Swagger and Flatter, and thus can be a terrifying charmer with potent special defenses to help keep it protected. The creature is known as a shrewd manipulator with luck and agility on its side, and if anything dares to cross it even the slightest, it will lash out seemingly playfully and with great gusto, and try to mean that any confrontation with the creature is sure to be a dire one and worth preparing for if it must be hunted down. This is especially evident in its access to Technician as a hidden ability and in its base stats, as the beast excels when it comes to stamina, agility, and other attributes, its base HP, attack, special defense, and speed stats being above average for a fully evolved poison and fairy type Pokemon, rendering it a potent manipulative force worth being wary of in any sort of battle. As noted before, the true physical origins of Pecharunt are still a bit hazy, but it is believed by scholars that the creature is the result of a mythical Pecha berry, a berry of the kind so perfect and pristine that one is only generated every few years or so, acting as a seed of reincarnation for a troubled spirit. This creature tends to hide in its purple shell most of the time, as its evil powers have hardened the outside of the berry to the point of making it just like a suit of armor for its body, at least physically. The petulant monster, which smells like peaches, enjoys causing all sorts of chaos and panic for the sake of its own desires and whims, and is able to primarily accomplish this through two different methods. If it wishes to merely control others, it uses the potent poisonous liquid that it naturally produces inside of its shell to make sweet-tasting toxic mochi that either tricks others into eating or forces them to eat. Once eaten, the toxic spiritual connection that forms between it and the other party puts them totally under the control of this entity, and can affect humans and Pokemon alike in this manner, making them dance around and scream mochi over and over again as they do Pecharunt's bidding. Those under its control tend to have purple eyes and an aura of toxic gas around them, having no memories of their time as a puppet if the connection there is ever severed. However, it is possible that the creature can go one step further with all this, and instead both control and empower others with its very essence. This is accomplished through the generation and use of toxic chains that can gift others not only place them under Pecharunt's control, but actually transforms them to bring out their deepest desires and hidden attributes for real physically, which is how the Loyal 3 gain their powers, secondary attributes, and their abilities. This is primarily also seen as part of the creature's malignant chain attack, a powerful strike with said toxic chains that is not only extremely damaging, but has a 50% chance to badly poison a target. This in and of itself is also a major threat, as it feeds into Pecharunt's signature ability Poison Puppeteer, which allows the creature to use its spiritual powers to take hold and control the actions of any Pokemon it poisons against their will, in turn inflicting them with confusion as well if they are poisoned by any of Pecharunt's moves. As such, the monster is truly a terrible force to have to deal with, and not something to take lightly in any sort of confrontation, even if it is quite limited in its capacity to defend itself offensively, and its base stats are a bit on the limited side, with only its base HP, defense, and speed stats being above average for a fully evolved Poison and Ghost-type Pokemon. Though it does have the highest base defense stat out of all Poison and Ghost-type Pokemon, not counting Eternamax Eternatus for the former, and thus can take a serious physical beating in any conflict.
You know, I am usually willing to give a lot of Pokemon the benefit of the doubt when it comes to their negative and destructive behavior towards others. But these four are something I just cannot really excuse, and I don't exactly see the quartet in a very positive light. Okidogi is a terrible brute through and through, and without anything I could call a redeemable factor, even if it's not entirely his fault because of the toxins flowing through its system. His sheer physical strength makes him a terrible sight to see in close quarters, and his penchant for not holding back and instead just destroying anyone and anything that gets in his way is just beyond rude. Munkidori may not have started out as the smartest of creatures in hindsight, but that still doesn't excuse the cruel mind games that can play with others with the toxic power that now flows through him. Sure, maybe he likes to just mess with people by giving them headaches and the like, but it's still not something I could ever really approve of. Fezandipiti really seems to think that it's all that, when it is barely even a candle to the beauty of other Pokemon, but maybe that's something best left away from its ego. Still, it can use its gorgeous form to readily charm others with weak willpower, so it can be a massive nuisance to deal with if it can't be taken out quickly. And of course, there is then Pecharunt itself, the toxic little bugger that twisted the Loyal 3 to their present forms. I understand that the entity's backstory does help to paint it in a sympathetic light, committing the crimes it is responsible for so it can make its adoptive parents happy, but in modern times there really is an excuse, since they are long dead by now. Even if it might just be a practical child as far as mentality goes, its tough form and noxious powers make it a dire threat to anyone that can't avoid its control, and I dare say it is hard for me to think of any other Pokemon as manipulative and bratty as this fiend when it has its sights set on a goal.
Noxious to the extreme, and more than capable of proving to be a nasty group of Pokemon to run into, the members of the Loyal 3 group and Pecharunt are manipulative jerks that don't care much for the safety of others if they don't have to. The chances of running into these beings might be slim for most, but if you ever take a trip to the Kitakami region and wish to delve into the secrets of the region, you may have to barge your way through them if you want to get away in one piece.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure that you keep anything vulnerable to the toxic powers far away from a lot of them, or they might just try to employ a lot of you to their own services, whether you want to or not.
Thank you all for watching this video. It always brings me great joy to see others enjoying the work I do to try and make the world of Pokemon and the fascinating creatures that lay inside of it feel as real as they possibly can. If you really enjoy my work, please feel free to leave a comment and subscribe, as I always do my best to respond to any and all comments that are left on my videos. In addition, if you wish to learn more about my work and help support it, you can find links to my Patreon page, as well as email and other contact information to my work on DeviantArt in the video description down below. Furthermore, you can find a link to my Discord server there as well if you'd like to get a first glimpse at what videos are coming up next and converse with other fans of the world of Pokemon. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and have a wonderful rest of your day.